All right, so Texas Democrat Jolanda Jones completely torches Texas Republicans over what she is calling blatant racist redistricting and a disgusting campaign of paycheck blackmail. I mean, get this. She says they are straight up lying, accusing her and other Democrats of committing felonies to try and scare them. But here's the kicker. Representative Jones is a lawyer for 30 years, and she's calling their bluff, saying point blank when their lips moving, they're lying. They are literally trying to starve them out, withholding paychecks from her and her staff, thinking that'll force them to cave. But Jolanda Jones, who says she's from the bottom part of Third Ward, is making it clear she isn't scared. She's connecting this directly to the playbook we saw in North Carolina, where Republicans use the exact same kind of racist redistricting to crack and pack black communities to steal congressional seats. She's calling this fight a guerrilla war. Let's watch the full clip and then I'll give you my thoughts at the end.
I'm a lawyer for 30 years. So when they sitting up there and they bumping their gums, they lying. When their lips moving, they're lying. They said we committed felonies. The Texas Penal Code covers felonies in the state of Texas. There is no felony for what they're saying we did. But they saying that because they trying to scare people, except for I ain't scared, we ain't scared. Also, when they issue subpoenas in Texas, the range is between like 150 and 200 miles. So if you at one end of Texas and it's a subpoena in the bottom end of Texas, they can't come get you. And normally federal agencies don't get involved unless it's a federal question. This is not a federal question. They trying to starve us. They trying not to pay us. They don't want us to be able to pay our staffs. And they think that if they do that, then we will come back there running with our tails between their legs. Except for I'm from the hood. If you ever listen to rap, you heard of Third Ward. I'm from Third Ward. I'm from the bottom part of Third Ward, not the bougie part of Third Ward. They can't do nothing to make me scared. And while people weren't paying attention to North Carolina, in 2024, the Republicans did a racist redistricting where they cracked and packed the black community to steal 3 seats. It is not a coincidence that in DC, Trump has a 3 Republican lead because they stole those seats. So guess what? Texas ain't about to be North Carolina in no way, shape, fashion, or form. And if they think by not paying us, if they think by sicking the police on us, that we going to come back there with our tails between our legs, let me be clear. Yesterday was a 60-year anniversary of the Voting Rights Act, where we used to have to pay a poll tax. We used to have to guess how many beans were in the basket. People were getting lynched and people were getting hosed by fire hoses, and they were getting bit, and our kids were getting bitten by dogs. We ain't going back to that. Not under my watch if I can help it. So we came in, we started this laughing because I did sort of enjoy y'all's conversation. But this is serious, and we need for y'all to support us. We need, because we, again, they have cut off our money. They have the police, so we like literally are in hiding. But you know what? If you want to go to war with me, right? I'm going to give you guerrilla war, okay? You're not going to know I'm coming. I'm going to be hiding. I'm not just about to walk there. And so I'm sick of this, and I miss my family. I'm a new grandmother. I miss my grandbaby. But you know what? As sad as I am not to be around my grandbaby, I know I got to do this for her because I need for her to live in a better world. She can go back to what Dr. King got assassinated for, Malcolm X got assassinated for, Medgar Evers got assassinated for. I got to fight for my grandbaby, so I'm going to have to be okay with FaceTiming her because this is real serious, y'all. It don't get more serious. It's as serious as a heart attack.
Okay, so first reaction, that was fire. Like, the kind of fire you get when somebody who actually knows the law is sick of being lectured by people who treat power like a get out of facts free card. Jones isn't mealy-mouthed. She's saying straight up, you're lying. And then she walks through the scaffolding of the lie. Fake felonies, theater subpoenas, and starving staff budgets to force compliance. It's blunt because the playbook is blunt. Republicans in Texas are pushing a redistricting scheme to bulldoze it through. They're smearing Democrats as felons, waving subpoenas like magic wands, and squeezing payroll to break spines. Jones says, nah, I've practiced law for 30 years, there's no felony here, subpoenas don't teleport across the state, and the feds don't have a hook. She ties it to North Carolina's map in 2024, cracking and packing black communities to manufacture a 3-seat swing, and she places all of this in the shadow of the Voting Rights Act's 60th anniversary, which, yeah, that timing lands like a brick. Because, I can already hear the actually crowd warming up. First, breaking quorum or resisting a partisan map isn't a felony. That's not how the Texas Penal Code reads, and people who claim otherwise are banking on you never checking. The legislature can send a sergeant at arms, sure, but that's a civil compulsion thing. Felony? No. Second, that subpoena range roughly 150 miles from where you live or got served is real. You can't just lasso people from El Paso to Brownsville on a whim. Third, the federal jurisdiction point. Unless there's a federal question, the FBI isn't your personal legislative bouncer. Jones is cutting through the cosplay. And then there's the NC comparison. Some folks pretend that's dramatic. It isn't. In North Carolina, the majority redrew lines to slice up black urban voters. Charlotte, the triangle, the triad, so that safe GOP seats popped out like a vending machine. The result? A 3-seat swing in the US House. That's not public opinion shifting overnight. That's cartography replacing consent. When Jones says Texas won't be North Carolina, she's warning the whole country. If this becomes the normal, elections become vibes checked by a map room. I'm also clocking the intimidation tools. We're cutting off your money. That isn't hardball, that's hostage taking. You stop paying the workers who keep the building running, nonpartisan staff, aides with rent due because critics won't roll over. That's using the purse to punish representation. It's petty and it's dangerous. People hear budget and think numbers on a spreadsheet. It's people's groceries, it's childcare, it's whether a young staffer can afford to stay in public service or gets shoved out so only the independently wealthy can hold the line. That's the quiet goal. Rig the map, then rig who can even afford to resist. There's also a storytelling piece here I really like from Jones. The line about Third Ward, the family, the granddaughter, the civil rights leaders who were assassinated. Some will sneer and say, oh, she's playing identity politics. Nonsense. No, she's anchoring this in lived history. The Voting Rights Act was signed on August 6, 1965. 60 years and 1 day later, she's being told to accept a map that dilutes black voters' power while getting taunted with fake criminality and cops at the door. That's not subtle. That's a neon sign. And the guerrilla war metaphor, let me just say this carefully. She's describing persistence and unpredictability in legislative resistance, not calling for violence. Authoritarians love to yank that kind of line out of context and pretend it's a threat so they can justify more crackdowns. The actual threat to public safety comes from people who try to swap persuasion for punishment. You don't need to arrest your colleagues if your policy is defensible. You don't need to bankrupt staff if your map is fair. The felony smear is doing something deeper too. It paints a democratic tactic denying quorum to stop an extreme bill as criminal behavior, so the public starts accepting police solutions to political disagreements. Once that frame is set, everything gets easier for the people rigging the system. Budget vetoes look like discipline. Fines look like order. Map rigging looks like stability. It's the same projection we've seen for years. Accuse the other side of stealing while you draw the blue districts into pretzels and call it accountability. And yeah, the North Carolina piece keeps gnawing at me because you can trace the consequences up the ladder. One state manipulates 3 seats, the House balance shifts, and suddenly basic national priorities are hostage to whoever perfected the crack and pack algorithm. Climate bills, voting protections, gun safety. You feel it in places that never voted for those lines. That's why this Texas fight matters beyond Texas. If it works there, copy-paste season begins. Do I wish the rhetoric didn't have to be this heated? Sure, but people tried polite. People testified for hours in hearings that ended at 3 a.m. People wrote reports. Then came the same map with a new coat of paint. At some point, clarity is mercy. This is about whether voters choose their reps or politicians choose their voters. One of those is democracy. The other is whatever you call a system where maps pick winners and police pick the schedule. So my big picture takeaway, and I'm saying this with like a tired little laugh because the pattern is so obvious, stop pretending these are neutral procedural squabbles. They're power plays designed to shrink black and brown political voice and cement minority rule. Jones is right to call the bluff. She's right to treat the felony talk as theater, and she's right to tie this moment to the Voting Rights Act anniversary because the arc doesn't bend on its own. People have to shove. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. While you're down there, hit the like button and subscribe. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.